Welcome to Hypnosis Today, the nation's first web TV talk show that explores the fascinating world of hypnotherapy. My name is Lisa Mackenberg, and I'll be your host, covering a wide variety of subjects to help you understand the power of the subconscious mind and how hypnosis is being used today to help people achieve success, happiness, and prosperity. Today, I have two very special guests. Well, my first guest is Miley Gray. Now, Miley is a graduate of HMI College of Hypnotherapy. She also has written articles about misconceptions about hypnosis, and you can read those in the Mountain Enterprise newspaper. She also teaches parenting classes at the Family Resource Center right here in Los Angeles, California. And she has with her her very special guest and client, Cal. And Cal came in to visit Miley for hypnosis before his surgery. Please help me welcome my guests. Well, Cal, I want to start with you. Tell me, what kind of surgery were you going to get?
Lumbar surgery. I'd actually had 3 in 05, and they were just, I mean, it was a terrible experience. It was just awful. Well, arthritic deterioration. It was just, they had to go in and do major overhaul, and it just, a lot of complications, a lot of problems. Infection from a MRSA, I mean, just really went through a lot. So, in fact, the surgery in 06, the end of 06, was to go in and take hardware out because the MRSA, they couldn't get rid of the MRSA. So,
forgive me, I'm not sure what a MRSA is. What is that?
Methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. It's a resistant staph infection.
Oh my.
Yeah,
I know how dangerous those can be.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
So if you get one and you've got hardware in the body where the infection is, they have to go in and take the hardware out and clean it out. So I was facing, they in fact had determined that the infection was in the bottom screw on the right side, and they were going to have to go in and open me up and take that out and then clean it up. And I was not looking forward to it because of the previous experience. Yeah. And Miley suggested she might be able to help me get through it.
Well, tell me, Miley, I'm going to go to you now. First of all, tell us how you know Cal.
This is my father-in-law, Mr. Cal Bartlett. The best father-in-law I've ever had. And
the only one.
The only one, yeah. And I was in Lisa's class. I was here at HMI, and I had just taken the pre-surgery module, and I knew he was going in for surgery in a couple days, and it's like, you have to let me do this. You have to let me do this. It'll help. And we went from there.
So I got to ask. So here it is, your beautiful daughter-in-law who calls you up and says, I'm taking a hypnosis class. I can help you with hypnosis. What did you think?
Well, I knew nothing about hypnosis, and she actually worded it in such a way that she was taking the class and it would help her if, so she talked me into doing it. Because
that's the best marketing I've ever heard in my life. Don't do it for you, Dad. Do it for me.
Yeah, but the long and the short of it is I went along with it, and we had the session. And literally, right before I went in for the surgery, the day before.
Well, that's cutting it close.
I'd just taken the class the night before.
You know what? Listen, you are prepared. You take the class, you are prepared. Yeah. And there's no time like the present, okay?
Exactly.
So now I'm going to go with you. What kind of an induction did you use for your father-in-law for a pre-surgery hypnosis, especially when Cal was having some degree of pain and discomfort even before the surgery?
We just did a couple of progressive relaxations.
No arm raising?
No arm raising.
How come?
Because as we know, the deeper you go, the more comfortable you become, that anesthesia effect. And so we were going for that and depth to get this, to move through this pre-surgery.
Had you had any experience with hypnosis before Miley called you up and said, do it for me, Cal?
None whatsoever.
So what did you think?
Well, like I say, I was a little skeptical. First of all, I didn't think I could be hypnotized, and because I didn't understand what hypnosis was.
You mean you didn't read her article about misconceptions about hypnosis?
That was later. That was later.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you.
but she
you
did explain to me what the misconceptions were.
Good. And then what was it like to have progressive relaxations? Were you able to have some reduction in your pain merely from doing the progressive relaxation?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that must have really brought the belief.
Yeah, well, of course. I'm thinking, you know, by the time we were through the session, it was like, I was amazed. I just couldn't believe that it would have any real effect, any real physiological effect.
So you say you were amazed. What were you surprised at? When you talk about physiological effects, tell us what you mean by that.
Well, that there was much less pain in that particular moment. As far as what we were setting out to accomplish, I was really amazed when I had the surgery, and I mean, I had no complications, no problems going in or coming out, and didn't need any pain medication after the surgery. And I don't like taking pain medications. I have an issue with that, number one. I'd had enough that I didn't want, and I mean, I simply didn't need it. It was like I woke up in a whole different world than I'd ever been in after a surgery, and like I say, I'd had my share.
I was going to say, you have the credibility because you had a very similar procedure really recently, and you had something to compare it to. So Wiley, what did you use? Teach us your method for pre-surgery hypnosis.
For pre-surgery hypnosis, what I like to do is desensitize through every step of the surgery, and then also really reinforce the positive outcome. So using imagery, telling the mind and the body in a way it understands that this is going to happen, but it's for your greater good, and this is where we're going with this. This is our goal to accomplish.
Now, did you use any suggestions about when he was under anesthesia, talking to the part of the mind that might still retain it?
Definitely, definitely. Every pre-surgery hypnosis I do, because now I've done many over the years, I block my clients from negative suggestions and negative inferences from anybody in the room, doctors, anybody in the room. And then I also the anesthesia, that it's for their comfort only, side effects are for somebody else, which is straight out of Lisa's class.
Okay, well,
Just
thank
saying.
you. Yes.
Yeah.
So when you awoken from the surgery, you say you felt like you were in a whole separate world. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, just that I was so accustomed to waking up in a lot of pain and groggy, and my guess is they didn't have to use as much anesthetic as normal, just because I wasn't feeling the after effects from that. It was like I woke up in a euphoric state, which is just not what one expects from that experience.
So now you come out of the recovery room, and now you're resting in your hospital bed. What was it like after surgery? You mentioned that you needed less pain management narcotics or no pain management narcotics?
Well, I'll be real honest. They gave me one pain pill that afternoon. We did the surgery in the morning, and I didn't need any or want any after that one pill.
Wow. Were you able to get up and begin walking and moving?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have to ask, what did your doctor say?
You know what? When I told my doctor about it, he's a wonderful neurosurgeon. He said, "I would like to meet this young lady." And you did have a meeting with him, didn't you? Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have the privilege of having a daughter-in-law who's a hypnotherapist to call him up and say, "Hey, do it for me." What would you say to someone who is a little skeptical or believes that he or she cannot be hypnotized because they don't understand what it is?
Well, I would explain that it's not what you think it is, and that it's as simple as allowing her to plant the positive feedback into your subconscious, and you're aware of it. You're always aware. In fact, she won't let you go to sleep. I try to go to sleep once in a while, but she keeps you awake, and she makes sure that you're cognizant during the whole thing.
Good for you.
Yes.
and you were skeptical. What was the most surprising thing about your hypnotherapy experience after surgery?
I don't know what I can tell you, but more than what I've already told you, the fact that it works. I actually called her up the next year and had her help me out with, I don't know if you want to go into something else, but it was literally a year later, I was understudying a part in a play, a lead, and I had to go on with no rehearsal. I'd learned the lines, but I had to go on, and I was very uptight about it. And so I said, by the way, can we do one for me? and
That's a ringing endorsement, and
Yeah.
that's totally unrelated, but you sure have the experience that gives the credibility. I'm going to end with you, Miley. Can you give us your best post-hypnotic suggestion for anyone who is a pre-surgery hypnosis client?
You know, I suggest to all my pre-surgery hypnosis clients that their body knows how to heal, that it really knows what to do. And then I tie that into the color green, that each and every time you see the color green, it reminds your mind and your body of regeneration and rejuvenation. And I also remind them that their body is fast healing.
Excellent. And maybe next time we see the two of you, we'll talk about how do you have someone master an audition when he knows the lines but has never rehearsed. But we're going to have to save that for another show because we have to take a short break. But first, I want to thank Miley Gray. And you can reach Miley Gray on hmigrads.com. I also want to thank Cal for coming in and sharing his experience with hypnosis before his surgery. But please stay tuned, because when you come back, we have another hypnotherapist from HMI who's going to come on with her client and talk about hypnosis and sugar addiction. Stay tuned. We'll see you right back here on Hypnosis Today. Parenting classes at the Family Resource Center right here in Los Angeles, California. And she has with her her very special guest and client, Cal. And Cal came in to visit Miley for hypnosis before his surgery. Please help me welcome my guests. Well, Cal, I want to start with you. Tell me, what kind of surgery were you going to get?
the surgery in '06, the end of '06, was to go in and take hardware out because the MRSA, they couldn't get rid of the MRSA. So
Forgive me, I'm not sure what a MRSA is. What is that?
Methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. It's a resistant staph infection.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how dangerous
those
can
are
be.
they're terrible.
Yeah.
So if you get one and you've got hardware in lumbar surgery, I'd actually had 3 in '05, and they were just, I mean, it was a terrible experience. It was
How
just
come?
awful. Well, arthritic deterioration. It was just, they had to go in and do major overhaul, and it just, a lot of complications, a lot of problems, infection from a MRSA. I mean, just really went through a lot. So in fact,
Welcome to Hypnosis Today, the nation's first web TV talk show that explores the fascinating world of hypnotherapy. My name is Lisa Mackenberg, and I'll be your host, covering a wide variety of subjects to help you understand the power of the subconscious mind and how hypnosis is being used today to help people achieve success, happiness, and prosperity. Today, I have 2 very special guests. Well, my first guest is Miley Gray. Now, Miley is a graduate of HMI College of Hypnotherapy. She also has written articles about misconceptions about hypnosis, and you can read those in the Mountain Enterprise newspaper. She also teaches